This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised.
Clear your schedules because VCT has your Sunday covered. We're closing out the week with a Battle of Brazil and then a good old-fashioned grudge match. Hello and welcome to VCT Americas, coming to you live from the Riot Games Arena here in beautiful Los Angeles, California. I'm Zoe, and on the desk with me today are Sean, Gareth, and Wyatt is doing us the pleasure of joining. Biggest takeaway this week so far?
So far,
let's make it educational. Impress me.
Oh yeah, it's all a blur.
Well, yeah, it is a blur. Wait,
Crew. That's all I can remember. Crew.
Crew. Kind of goated. 100 Thieves. Pretty up and down. Sentinels. I don't know what's going on. MIBR.
Good.
They look pretty sick.
Pretty good. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Those are my takeaways.
Honeymoon phase or insanely good. I'm leaning towards insanely good, actually.
Okay.
On MIBR?
Yeah, for MIBR.
Overwhelming positive. Let's take a look at if that is reflected in the standings here as well. So far, looking at those standings coming into stage one, any surprises?
Well, Crew. I mean, that's the big one, right? It's not just that they're 2-0, because in 2024, I think people forget that they did go on a 5-0 run to start the season off. So seeing them at 2-0, not crazy. It's when you get into the specifics that they dismantled Sen with ease. That's the crazy part.
They looked really, really good against Sentinels, and it is a lock that Crew will be a champs. It's a fact, actually, every year, right?
Definitely. Now, this game yesterday, I mean, they do it every year. No matter what the performance is throughout the year, they will be a champs. This game, I think 100 Thieves needed a solid win here to get the confidence back because they had a rough showing week one.
They did, and this was the 100 Thieves I think everyone expected after kickoff. They had some really tough opponents, and they looked great here. They looked great, getting the 2-0 over EG. They've yet to ever drop a series, actually, against EG and VCT, which is a cool little matchup they have going on.
This one was a banger, though.
No.
This one was such a banger to close out the day. They went the distance, man. It was an explosive match.
I think this was the best match that we've gotten so far in stage one. Absolute banger. First time these teams have actually matched up in 2025. Verno was fitting in so well with MIBR. But ultimately, I mean, G2, they're kind of the sickest.
Yeah, they really are. And there was moments in that last map where you just felt G2 just closing it out. We saw a couple of those clutches. That first half had to feel so brutal for the MIBR players. That's a nightmare, right? They lost like 2 1-on-3s and a 1-on-2. Rough.
Yeah, but it was a great showing for them. So any MIBR fan should be very excited for what's to come. Now, speaking of things to come, we got some good ones today as well. Brazilian vets taking on Brazilian rookies and Loud versus 2G. Grudge match on display. The drama, White. The drama.
The question is, how excited should we be for the rest of the Brazilian teams outside of MIBR? Loud have shown flashes of brilliance. Back to Kickoff as well, where they almost took down Sen, almost took down Crew, did the first time. Where are they going to end up? I think it's tough to say. And then obviously 2G, that's where things are looking rough.
No, things are looking very rough for 2G. It's easy
and they get
to say
rougher
that
still. But we get into that in just a little bit. It is Sunday today, to catch everyone up who's not looking at the calendar so frequently. It is Sunday, which also means that it's time for the Pulsar Flick of the week. And this one is courtesy of G2's Leave. And it is absolutely rotten. This is disgusting. This is criminal, guys.
No, this was the one where he gave the standard Leaf cackle at the end of the round, if I remember correctly. That is disgusting.
It shouldn't happen.
No.
Also, the game did him a real solid there. He's gliding on skates. You can't be allowed to hit that shot. That's not what the developers intended.
But you're definitely typing Vice Div in all chat right there.
Oh, man. Well, we had a good time watching it. And whilst we're already handing out salutations to some highlight-worthy moments, we also want to highlight individuals, acknowledge greatness and accomplishments that we've seen so far from some players. And that's why we decided to hand out an award which means so much to all of us. It is, of course, the Employee of the Month.
Look
a player
Look at him.
that went above and beyond to help his team.
Streamer, player, friend,
Wow.
Overall,
He's got it
just a
all.
joyful guy.
Yes.
He's really been the standout for this team so far in Stage 1. We were definitely looking at Mata to be that guy, but it's Sam who's taken up the mantle as him for NRG.
Absolutely. And you are typically someone that works in weeks. What is it like to have someone Employee of the Month, Wyatt?
I mean, honestly, what Sam has been able to do day in, day out, clocking in, he's the first one in, he's the last one out. And that's resulted in him, even in this loss against Cloud9 in week 1, being arguably the best player in the server. And then when we get to this game against Furia, he kind of just clapped him.
Yeah, he's the co-worker you want in your office, honestly. You're running out of ink on your printer. He's the first one out the door to getting all stocked
Brings
back
a
up.
smile on his face.
Yeah, fun water cooler talk with the boys. Complain about the boss with him.
That's right. Sum's a friend of everyone, and that's why Sum is our Employee of the Month. And, you know, he's so great a person that, of course, he sent us an acceptance speech for this incredible accomplishment. Let's hear what he had to say. Yes, actually.
Hey guys, Ethan here. Sam told me I have to accept his award for him, so thanks.
That's crazy.
A heartfelt speech.
Wait.
That's a real testament to the importance of this award so far.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that was going to happen. That's the crazy part.
Well, yeah, I'm a bit emotional right now, honestly, after hearing all of what Ethan had to say instead
what a
of.
speech.
Yeah, no, you know, you win some news.
Typical award show.
Actually, so true. That's so real. But you know, he does pop off on the servers, so he's usually well worth a watch. And if you want to see him live in the flesh, in person, you should join us here in the arena. That's right, because we still have tickets on sale. Not sale, just you can sell. No, we're selling them. You're buying them. The Riot Games Arena is right here in beautiful LA, California. And if you want to drop by, you should do that right now. There's a lot of great things, obviously, outside of the games. There's us.
Yeah.
That's a selling point.
Fun.
Yeah, that's fun. But even better, we also have some goodies. We got merch for days. We got some new stuff this stage as well. So let's send it over to Riv to take a closer look at what the goods are.
I'm here at the Riot Games merch booth with Mariah. We're hanging out. Beautiful day here at VCT Americas before the games. And we want to include you in what kind of new merch you can get here if you're hanging out at Riot. Mariah, what are we looking at? What kind of things have we added this year?
Yeah, so this year we have some gun buddies. These can either be a magnet or it can be a fun little bag charm or something like that. And behind us we have these hoodies. It's the same hoodie, but this is exclusive to Riot Games Arena. You can only get it here. We have this ISO jacket. This one's really cool. These sleeves actually unzip, so you can make it a vest. So whatever you want.
That's too cool.
And then if we come over here,
More new stuff, tons of stuff.
we have this shirt. It has Viper on it, my girl. And this one is also exclusive only to Riot Games Arena. You can only get it here. And then we have this new Omen hat up here. So you have a black and white hat, whatever you choose. And then we also have these new stickers here. Yeah, so a bunch of fun stuff.
So a lot of new things, and those are only available here, right?
Yeah, only here.
All right, and there's other stuff they can get online, though.
You can get this Omen hat online. You can get all of our plushies online, as well as the gun buddies and the ISO jacket.
And when you're coming to Riot here, when do you come in there? Beginning of the day? Can you come all day? How long is the merch booth open?
Yeah, we're here all day up until when you guys leave. So if you want something but you want to wait until you're leaving, yeah, you can always wait. But I would say grab it just in case.
I mean, I know I already grabbed one of those jackets. It's definitely amazing. The quality of everything is perfect. Mariah, thank you so much. Yeah. Hope you have a great day, and we hope to see you in the games. Peace.
Thank you so much. What's your merch of choice? What are you usually grabbing? Are you a hat guy, a t-shirt guy, a gun buddy?
I like a little plushie. I mean, last week I was doing some excellent shilling. I bought Ten's mouse outside at the
You also
fest.
mentioned it about 100 times on broadcast.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I hope
That's
that
why
helped
I'm the
the
greatest
sales.
shill in the business. So listen, whatever I got to do to get that day rate going up, I will shill all of the merch.
You
Love that for all
shill.
of us.
What I do is I put on my VCT Americas Year 1 jacket and just pretend I'm
Oh,
Potter.
you're one of those guys.
I'm pretend I'm Potter. Because she wears it all
How's
the
that
time.
working out for you?
Pretty well,
Not-
actually.
Well,
Top was doing all right.
in certain regards, I guess it's doing pretty good.
Yeah, in certain situations when the light is just right, we might confuse him for Potter. It's almost the same thing. Now, I want to get into today's games, though. we got some good ones, as I already alluded to. Our first matchup is going to be Loud versus 2G, and this may be the first time we're going to see these two teams meeting here in the Americas stage. But they did play during the off-season in the Ticino Invitational, and it was 2G taking the victory. We do have a slight caveat here, of course, that 2G did have their absolute star player, Spike, with them, which I know Wyatt personally is a Omega fan of.
Yeah.
And also, Zap did not play with them for this tournament. So, yeah, a different team.
Very different team. Also, have to speak about how Loud were a very different team in the offseason. For me, they were the biggest glow-up from the offseason into the regular season. They were significantly worse in terms of the team play, the fundamentals, than they are now. So that was a time where you have a 2G right out of Ascension. Vibes are great, playing against this newer Loud squad. Totally different beast now.
Very different as well because they had Prize on the team, who's now on Furia, right? So they have two different players compared to what they're going into today with. And Loud, I agree, they looked rough in the offseason. There's been these weird moments for Loud where they look incredible, like the opening map against Crew. I mean, they blew them out on their map pick, but then they go into their own map pick. They get blown out even harder. It's like 13-2.
That game made no sense last week.
Made no sense.
I mean,
And then
this was the strangest game of the year so far, I think, in Americas.
it was crazy. And
Yeah,
then-
it went stump into a fairly close match. But yeah, what can you even take away? If you're 2G prepping against Loud, is there any sense, rhyme, or reason?
I think I would be a little bit scared if I were 2G because Loud shows that they can do it. Even on this last map, they were up big. I want to say it was like 8-4 in the first half that Crew had to grind back into. I mean, I think Loud are very close to being a top 3 team in our region. They just need to dot the I's, cross the T's.
Yeah, I feel like they're one of the teams that have displayed a low floor and a high ceiling.
Yeah.
When they're at that ceiling, though, we've seen this year Kaunzin be one of the best initiators in Americas. He is getting multi-kill after multi-kill. Pancada's sharp as ever with the aim. Dijazine out of that stint in Challengers, back onto the big stage, looking as good as he did year one. There are a lot of upsides. It's about the consistency having it.
Yeah, let's support that visually, actually. Pancada, absolute Iceman. He was a stone-cold killer on the server. I mean, if you have performances like that, you should be feeling pretty confident about your team.
Absolutely. This guy's frying in the fights. Like, you're watching him post up in all these off angles, just destroying people swinging into him. It reminds me of vintage Pancada, right? I feel like people slept on him during that Sen phase where they were just putting him on Sentinel.
Yeah,
all the time.
definitely. You forget and shouldn't forget at times that this guy is a world champion. Yes. And at the time, he was the best controller arguably in the game.
Yes.
Easily top 2. And he really has gotten, at least getting close to back in that form since getting back onto this smoke. So like you said, yeah, his stocks went down with that weird play on Sentinels, past year, but he's back.
I'm going to ask you a question, Why? I'm going to put you on the spot. Because you love the Brazilian scene. These guys have Luxo chilling on their bench.
Dude,
I consider this guy less junior. It's literally less junior.
Yes, he is. And honestly, I half expected him to be playing when we got to stage 1.
Yeah.
They've just got him in the tuck.
I'm scared for the team.
Incredible tier 2 player that should be a tier 1 player, display those skills at Ascension. That's their 6th man right now.
Which is more of a reason why they need to win, because everyone's playing for their job if that guy's on the bench. You're playing for
extra
your job.
inspiration.
That kid is nuts. That's all I have to say about that. I feel like Loud players have to feel the pressure. With that guy being the 6th man, he's legit.
Who has more pressure in this game?
The Loud, easily.
Yeah, probably
I mean,
Loud, yeah.
are you talking about the team to team?
The team to team. Where's the pressure at?
Loud are coming in. People think that they're the 99% to 1% favorite here. They need this win. This should be a free win for them theoretically. They have all the pressure. 2G, they should just be coming in and having fun and seeing what they can do. Like, at this point, what pressure could they possibly have, right?
They really shouldn't, and that's why I hope 2G come out today and they play a loose style. They're running, not double duels across every map, but they need to run it somewhere. And they need to pick and choose their places to just play a little bit silly, like have fun with it, because Loud is going to come into this out for blood.
Yeah, if you're coming into this as the favorite, there is obviously an insane amount of pressure to go with it. So let's hear from a former champion who spoke with Riff ahead of today's match.
I have a quick moment to talk to Pancada before the games today. Difficult ending to the series versus Crew last week. What learnings are you taking away from that as you come into this week?
Actually, we learned that we can throw the easy rounds, so it can impact the whole game, so we can throw.
All right, I like to hear. Let's see it in the games. Good luck.
Now we do need to do a deep dive on 2G and their current situation, so we called in an expert. It's Malau from our Brazilian broadcast team. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. A little bit like afraid, like feeling under the gun to explain this.
We need you
explain the unexplainable.
I throw you a softball. Okay, let's just start off with 2G in general. Obviously, Kickoff, they had a rough time. A lot of people expected that to be the case, but it was even a little rougher than most people thought it would be. However, starting in stage 1, yes, they lost. Don't give me that,
Don't make
right?
me rewatch this.
They lost
them to
against
win.
DG, but
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
they looked a lot better.
Yeah, they did. They did.
They
Like,
looked a lot better.
the easy answer is always they miss Spike. Like he's really good. He was the star player and all that. But I like Gobert. I like what they were doing, especially on Kickoff. You only see them twice, like 2 games, and then the first week was like not really good, but was way better than we saw them on Kickoff. So I was so hopeful that thing was going to place.
It was definitely the best they've looked since that Ascension event.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe even the off season where they had some success.
But they didn't play with their roster.
That's true, but you told me something. You dropped a bomb. You said Spike was their secondary IGL.
Yes.
Which is crazy to me. This kid's not even 18. He's their star fragger. He can't even play in VCT yet.
It just has heavier implications on what they've been lacking than what we were even discussing when we were getting into their games.
Like, Silence and Spike was a really good duo. So
Yes.
sometimes Spike was playing Duelist and Silence was playing like Flex for him and vice versa. So he was one of the main roles was not being the star player, but being the second caller, being the trader. So that's what they've been lacking, I guess. Someone to fill these shoes, you know, not the star shoes.
Yeah, I mean, we're all obviously highly anticipating Spike coming into this. Stage 2, I believe he should be eligible age-wise to play. However, in the meantime, they just can't catch a break because in their opening match here for Stage 1, they look good, and one of the players that stood out was Zap. He seemed so hype. He was seemingly bringing the energy. And if you're around on the VALORANT social media world, in that world, then you probably heard the news that Zap, the captain and IGL, is off the team. So there were obviously a lot of rumors, but there was also an official statement. So we're going to let that one sink in. Due to ongoing and escalating disagreements, the current situation became unsustainable, and they have parted ways with Zap.
Yes.
Was that a big surprise for the Brazilian community?
Yes, of course, for everyone. Like Zap, we always see Zap as this really good leader. That time when he hugged Spike. So
not even IGL leader.
Yes, like a leader.
It really felt like him. I don't know if you agree. I'd be interested to know that they would not have won Ascension without him.
Yeah, I don't know. That was the spark, this magic. But he was really, really important. He's really like one of the most experienced players on the team. So he's like 27, I guess, right? So he's been playing a lot. I remember him playing First Strike back in 2020. So he's been there a while. So that's the thing. We don't know what happened. Like, I don't think we will ever.
But you were mentioning they have a little bit of experience playing without him from the off season.
Yeah, but even Faith, the coach, played on the off season.
But they won a couple of games.
Yeah,
but it's also an off-season tournament.
But Spike was playing.
You're coping over there.
You're trying.
Okay, so Zap is out. So obviously the big question was, who is coming in? The new player that picked up for the roster is PXS, and he's coming up from Challengers.
Yes, he's been playing Challengers since 2021. All the Brazilian and Latin teams have problems with visas and stuff, but PXS is all, besides being a good player, he was born here in the USA, so it makes things a little bit easier. He's been playing, like I said, since 2021 on VALORANT. He played last year alongside with Zeno, like Chenon from MIBR. He, after Pala came to MIBR last year, he went to play on his place. And he was playing on a team as a Sentinel this time. He was playing Duelist before. Now with the Villa of Zanatsu, like they don't have an ARG, but he was playing with Conan, So a few guys that
Yeah,
was
a lot
playing.
of good players that have been
Yes.
around the scene for a while.
Yes.
Do you know on those teams, crucially, what the communication was like? Is
Like-
he fluent?
No, he's
multilingual?
like he doesn't sound. He sounds like a Brazilian. Like he's
Really?
kind of Brazilian. Yeah, he lives in
Okay.
Brazil since I don't know. Like was only born here, I guess.
Oh,
You know
he's
why? As an
Brazilian.
American, you might not understand, but
He has
there's
a
people who speak more than just one language.
well,
That's
I mean,
crazy.
listen, with all the talk of what's happening with Bruno, I have to ask. Unnecessary shots being fired. I was just asking a question.
No, you were a target.
After
You
the
made
Bruno
yourself a huge
situation-
target for that one. You
He
were
has both
asking for
seasons.
that one.
Target.
Yeah.
Has both. And I was talking to Sidozord. He's the IGL for Stellai, the former team of PXS, and he says he's really good at comms. So I think that's the kind of guy they needed.
And I've heard he's like very skilled mechanically, right?
Yeah.
Like this is a mechanical upgrade for sure off of Zap. Do you expect him to play a little bit more scrappy, running the double duelist and stuff a lot more?
I don't know because I don't think, even though he's a really flexible player, I don't really think he played initiator yet. I talked to him. He's playing like filling Zap shoes in the role. So
Oh, they're gonna 1-for-1 rolls.
yeah.
Oh, that
But-
could be difficult.
We got Terro. Like you don't need to be
That's true. That's a good point.
that really good at playing like initiator. So let's see what's going on what's going to happen because that's a tough one. But I talked to the guys before the match and they seem like really like light,
spirits?
like
They're
Yeah, okay.
optimistic about it?
optimistic. Like they were happy. Like you know.
This is
So
good. It's time to have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
For this team.
Can you
Just-
tell me?
Actually-
when we're watching them, I swear it looks like they have so much pressure. Like
Yeah.
they're feeling a lot of pressure. But the community, I feel like, doesn't expect a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like we don't expect a lot because they can't even have their star player, the secondary IGL.
But it's their one shot.
I know.
Like, so, like, it
they
doesn't
gotta
matter
have
what the
fun out
community
there.
expectations is. Like, this is your one shot. Like,
Yeah.
you worked all your life, your young, very young lives, you worked for this opportunity. To know that you're going to come into everything as the underdog, like, that's tough. That can add pressure. We just talked about shoes to fill, though.
Yeah.
Who's picking up the IGLing role?
LZ.
Okay.
Yeah, he's playing. I talked to them. He's like he's the more experienced guy, player on the team. He's really chill. Like he always like everything's good with him. So let's see if he can fill this IGL shoe because Zap was really good doing it.
Yeah, LZ is one of those players on this squad that was always thinking util first when
Yeah.
you watch him. So it does make sense that he would be the one to take over the role. The question is he ready for this level of like additional requirement in his game plan, right? Requiring you to think so much more macro than what you were before when Zap was on the team. We saw him struggling to close out that EG game in the one-on-one against Ye. I mean, that worries me a little bit, putting more on that guy's plate.
But I don't know why they feel so much pressure. Like
Yeah.
we know that the main goal should be the second split, like when Spike is able to play, when they're going to win like playoffs, because you can really beat G2 right now to stay on the league. So I don't know why they put that much pressure on them. So now they have to deal with it.
Do you think that it'll help to play against a Loud team that they're very familiar against, or will Loud just feel too comfortable playing against a team that they kind of know that they're better than going
That's
into
a
this?
tough one because Loud comes from two losses in a row that they had the game on their hands.
Also after blood.
Yeah, so they might, if the game starts to go bad for Loud, I think 2G can snowball on it, you know, because their mental might go boom.
Are you questioning Loud's mental? Do you think this?
No, I'm not questioning
No?
Loud's
Okay,
mental,
okay,
but
I'm
it
curious.
might, like, nightmares
spread
like
some
this,
rumors out. That's what he
ghosts
said.
from the past.
I gotta up my Instigate game, you know?
Well, I'm excited to see what the PXS is bringing to the server. Malado, thank you so much
you
for
so much.
sharing
Thanks
your
so much.
insight. And let's hear what LC, their new IGL, has to say before today's match, because Riff had a chance to catch up with him.
I'm here with LZ before the match today. It's been a difficult 48 hours. You're moving to the IGL role now, and a new player flying in from Brazil just this week. How do you prepare for this day's match?
Cara, sobre a questão do IGL, é uma questão difícil, porque trocar IGL é muito difícil, mas o time precisava de alguém que assumisse essa responsabilidade e meus teammates depositaram muita confiança em mim, então foi uma forma mais tranquila de trabalhar e a gente está muito leve com isso. E sobre a questão do play, a gente teve muito pouco tempo para treinar, mas mesmo assim a gente teve uma boa preparação nesses últimos treinos e a gente está muito confiante para esse jogo.
Yeah, about becoming an IGL is a very hard decision, but it had to be done. I have all the support from my teammates, so I think we are confident with that. And about the new player, we had very little time to practice, but we had good practices, and I feel like this is just going to be all right. It's going to be good.
All right, great to hear it. Good luck in the game today.
Thank you.
I mean, it's so unfortunate. It's such little time, and then not just slotting in a new player, you also have to figure out a new way to IGL. Like, that's a tough spot to be in.
The roles are what's crazy, right? Like, LZ getting into this IGL role. You don't even know if PXS has the capability of slotting into some of Zap's roles, but we're going to have to see it. I think they have to pivot comps.
That's a guy who's been playing Sentinel and Duelist in Challengers. That's going to be tough. Also, I don't want to read into it too much, but I'm concerned about specifically LZ with the feeling too much unnecessary pressure, given the unfortunate scenes we saw last week against the Tripwire.
Oh, God, the Tripwire. We don't speak of the Tripwire.
Actually, we just did, so
We just did, but I wish I could forget.
We literally just did. It's okay, we can just pivot to the next segment and glaze over this one. We've got a new map pool, not just new players taken to the stage, and I want to figure out how much attention you guys here on the desk are paying to your surroundings, and that's why we're going to play a little game. It's called Where You At? We're going to show you a small portion, a zoomed-in portion of a map in our map pool, and you have to guess where we're at. Crazy complicated.
Dude, this is always so impossible.
Okay, chat, of course, feel free to play along. Let's head to our first map.
Unless it's like a picture of the bears in a circle somewhere.
Yeti always cooks me with these.
Fracture.
Oh, you're right.
It's Fracture.
Yes.
It's like Southside Fracture, A main. Outside A main.
Do
I
it.
think. Am I trolling?
I need confirmation of the ruling here from production as well. Do they just need to give us the map or the exact location of the map? Just map.
It's
okay,
just
map. Just
it's
the map.
Fracture. If this isn't Fracture,
we go Fracture.
I quit.
Okay. Locking in with high stakes. Is it Fracture?
What?
Well, goodbye, Wyatt. You had a really good run in VCT Americas.
I told you.
Enjoy doing the desk alone.
I told you. Yeti's about to cook us right now.
Goodbye.
You just overcommitted. There was no reason. There was no reason for those stakes.
No, he's actually gone.
It's all on you now.
No.
Let's take a look at our second map. Where do we find ourselves here?
Oh, this is looking like Icebox. This is where we gave Sam his Employee of the Month, no?
It's on that board.
Production told me I'm contractually obligated to come back. So I'm here.
You tried.
What did you go for on this?
I went Icebox.
He said Icebox. I'm not feeling Icebox.
Where would this be on Icebox?
Like kitchen area? Maybe
no,
like back
this
of
isn't
A?
a kitchen. This no, that's not a kitchen.
That's not
This
no,
one
this
could,
is clearly not a kitchen.
Could be our Fracture, by the way.
Okay, I'll give you like 5 seconds.
Could be.
This one could. I'm either thinking Fracture
3,
or Icebox. I'm going Icebox.
2.
I'll go Fracture again.
This is crazy.
Just shoot for Fracture every time.
What do we got?
We're gonna lock in the Icebox.
What? I mean that. Oh, that's just okay. It's fine. The only way we would know that is because the free cam observer loves to do the little shot where they go through the little.
Okay,
window
we're not doing too hot on the desk. I've been told, as per my contract, that I will be working with professionals on this desk so far.
Why did you guess it's Fracture every time?
Well,
you told me to go with
take a look. Let's take a look.
I got peer
the last
pressure.
one's the winner. 3 times the charm. Where are we at? Them arcades. Where are they at?
That's Fracture. That's actually Fracture.
It's
Arcade, bro.
Fracture.
It's Arcade of Fracture.
Oh yeah, it's gotta be. Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, you're right.
This guy gets
it's
Fracture every
It's
time.
Fracture. It's in Arcade. You're right. I mean, what else could it be? It's literally called Arcade.
Yes, he's done it.
That was actually monkeys on a typewriter creating Shakespeare, bro. It's got to be Fracture this time, surely.
Man, yeah, okay, we might be a bit confused as per locations, but surely we can predict the right team to win.
Yeah,
right?
surely the talent didn't all predict Sen to beat Crew.
Surely that never happened. Let's take a look at the predictions for this one. Okay, I mean, the first one feels like, yeah, that would have been an insane cook.
I think I'm the only member of talent who has predicted 2G to win a game.
I thought you're going to roll with the narrative, too. I thought you hard committed for the rest of the season.
They turned me into I was flattened to the status of a loose leaf sheet after watching Haven against EG.
But for a hot minute, you had some hope.
Oh, yeah.
When they were down on 8, you were like,
But game 2, I think a little bit more of a mix-up, though.
Oh,
We
yeah,
got a
Game
favorite
2 is going to
five-man.
be fire, actually. I can't wait to see Demon 1. I think he's going to evolve a lot week to week in this Smokes role. I think that second game is fire.
You think so? Well,
Yeah,
we'll find out very soon. That's the good news. And then we can, go back to our hot takes here on the desk. Our teams are ready to take to the stage. So let's get this day started. It's Loud versus 2G and Cloud9 versus Leviathan. VCT America starts right now.
Contra a 2G, acredito que vai ser um jogo bem pegado. A gente se conhece muito bem, somos dois times brasileiros. Então, no geral, vai ser uma partida que vai ser decidida mais no tático. Acredito que o time que se adaptar melhor vai conseguir fazer uma partida melhor. E daí vai ser o vitorioso.
Pancada sensacional!
Eu acredito que esse próximo jogo contra a Loud vai ser um jogo bem interessante, porque são dois times que, além de ser brasileiros, eles acabaram perdendo o primeiro jogo, então vai valer bastante pra gente.
Sobra sozinho contra dois!
Acredito que o fator emoção assim faz parte de todo o time brasileiro, mas eu acredito que o time que for mais racional e conseguir fazer o melhor jogo possível vai ser vitorioso. Então, acredito que não vai ser muito por esse lado. Somos um time muito melhor em termos de tática e de mira, então acredito que vai ser um jogo bem legal para quem vai for assistir e que vença o melhor.
And it's time to meet our two teams as they're taking to the stage for the first match of the day. Loud getting an opportunity for revenge after 2G took them down in an off-season tournament. This time, of course, the 2G prodigy Spike isn't in the mix to put them in their place. Now, on the other side, 2G, unfortunately, they're coming off of a quality loss from last week, but they're not able to build on what went right for them just then because they had to make a lot of drastic changes to their roster.
Yeah, but hopefully it takes some of the pressure off of them, Zoe. Like, that is the shining light here, is they shouldn't be coming out today feeling any pressure about having to get this win. Now, on the other side of things, Loud, this is kind of like a must-win in their schedule, in my eyes. Like,
Yeah,
they need to
absolutely.
get back to 1-1.
This is, frankly, when you're looking at the group, every team's like, this is our free win at this point. And I don't want to be too disparaging against 2G. This team has 3 different players from the run that they got to this league with, which is so unfortunate for them. But that being said, Gobera, their initial sub, he's been pretty fantastic. I think he's been their best player so far in 2025, matter of fact. Oskia wasn't too bad against EG last week, so these guys have stepped up. Now we can see if their third new player is going to step up today as well.
No, they're definitely underdog, but the way they've kind of situated the new lineup, they got a lot of skill. So they could definitely bite as the underdog right now. They just need to hit a couple first bloods to open up these rounds, play loose, and honestly, they can get Loud on the back foot really quickly. And Malal said mental will play a factor if 2G take the lead early here.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. If they can come out swinging, again, I just want to see them having some fun. Please, for the love of God, weight off of our shoulders. Let's just enjoy ourselves. If Silence is playing at his peak, when we saw him at Ascension, really tearing teams apart, playing Duelist when Spike was on the Initiator, that could be the catalyst to them stealing rounds away, making Loud feel like, why are we losing to these guys right now? This should be a free win. And once you start thinking, we should be winning this already, that's when it really begins to spiral out of control. Now, again, I am selling you a dream. But that's my job. That's what I get paid to
We're
do.
here to buy it. We're here to buy it, Wyatt. Let's take a look at our maps. Can dreams come true on either Lotus or on Pearl or maybe on Split?
Ooh, kicking us off on Lotus right now. Loud's pick. And you can see 2G wanting to start on attack right there. I think this is a decent map, and we've seen some underdogs really start off swinging on this attack half of Lotus.
That said, though, 2G, when they played it just literally last week against UG, they played that double duelist comp on it, which was not the most common sight.
I like that comp, though, honestly, for a game like this,
Same.
too. And on attack, when you're cycling the duelist ultimates, getting kill contract after kill contract, it can snowball far more aggressively than other comps on attack. and they could get off to a nice early lead. Again, I'm selling you the dream, but I do think this is possible. Like, hey, they get a pistol round, Silence gets a few kills if he's continuing to play ISO. All of a sudden, we might be cooking, could get a close game. It's possible.
I want to see the comp before I get the cope.
Yeah,
out.
exactly. That's honestly
the comp
my main
gives
thing.
me the cope.
Yeah, that is a fact.
Okay, on Loud side, what composition do we expect to see here? We've seen plenty of footage, of course, from them on Lotus.
Oh, that's a good question. They're probably going to go with like Fade Cypher.
Yeah, they have. And with the Neon, which Digizin has been really strong on. I like that they pivoted to this look, actually, with him being more Neon focused.
Kawenzine was really quick to go into the Breach Teo in Kickoff, but they like stepped away from it really quickly as well.
The first teams playing it.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
we've switched it up. We have Silence on the Vice. PXS just 1-for-1 picking up the role of Zap, who again was, you know, PXS traditionally playing Duelist or Sentinel, so we'll see how he can perform on a new role.
I mean, they can do it, but it's going to be very difficult. They're playing straight up. Difficult comp.
Do indeed. Can 2G get it done against Loud? Let's head to our first map and send it over to your casters for this one. We have the duo of Uber and Ender standing by.
Thank you very much, Zoe and the desk. We see two Brazilian teams at a bit of an inflection point here, and one has come off their third game against Crew in 4 officials, trying to find out where they sit in the grand scheme of things, and I think it's safe to say that our 2G team got some soul searching to do.
Yeah, well, the other team, 2G, has only played 3 officials this year, right? And it's been all losses for them. They're coming in after the loss of their IGL, after bringing in PXS. We found out that this guy was going to be playing for the team today.
It's time, of course, for your Samsung match start. Load up fast with Samsung SSDs as we head into Lotus. And this 2G team only have 2 of the players remaining that they ascended with now. They're looking completely different. PXS has come in, picked up the Breach on a map where previously they had Zap on the Sova. So a comp change for 2G.
It's a comp change, but in theory, maybe an easier comp to play. PXS picking up Breach. Not the hardest agent to go ahead and implement. Right now, just working into that front B space next to the Tejo. The rest of his team works into Sand, potentially looking to open this door and pinch into front B.
There's a lot of progress towards the B site being attempted here by 2G, so a bit of a chunk of the map carved out by Loud as slowly we start to tend in that direction. There's, of course, the chance for Loud to descend upon them, or at least for Digizin to do so through door if 2G don't get moving.
Yeah, looking for this re-hit now, but there's a stun ready from Loud's defense. They can look to open this door and really catch out 2G in the choke.
Here they come, flash in, fault line immediately comes out. It's going to slow PXS up, but 2G still want to make this way in. Kawenzine, though, able to take his pound of flesh before he ducks back to cover. Might look to linger a little longer. PXS is down, still no plant yet. A little bit awkward as 2G trying to make their way out towards Waterfall, and now once they get to the fight, they're able to get some damage done. LZ and Gobera, though, low, clinging to life is Loud, want to close the net.
There's no comfortability to plant the spike. 2G have to fight their way out of this. Vinny is low, but the Lurk is coming in with the Cypher on the other side. That's 3 now for Digizin. But Vinny is just trying to stall out as long as possible. We're down to 20 seconds. That flank comes in. It's all over for 2G.
And the setup's there for the defenders. I mean, Vinny is just waiting on a cue that 2G is trying to hit this C site. There's a fault line that immediately throws their plans into disarray. And again, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Exactly, right? And I think importantly, Kawenzine was not hit by the Omen blind coming in from the attacking side. The side anchor was, but he's able to pop out of that smoke and do a lot of damage while the rest of his team came rotating in off the stun.
Again, there's a lot of moving parts in this 2G comp, trying to get your Breach util lined up with your Teo setup. Now with a player just coming in, it's tough to have a just add water solution for this comp. Now towards Mound, Digizin wants to try and assert himself a little bit here. That first shot, though, is a little wayward. Does throw that relay bolt out, but wants to hang around towards Mound still.
Fight seen on the A side of the map, too. So far, 2G have been effectively stalled out towards Sand. And now without a fault line to work with, no flashes on PXS either, they'd have to swing into the line of Digizin's Outlaw. So I think good news from them is they're just going to grab the orb, maybe rotate back into A, see if they can play for that. Pretty sure Kawa took it on the other side, but it's the little wins 2G are going to be looking for in a round like this.
This comp has the ability to obtain some of that information safely, more passively, right? Where they actually have a scan initiator here in the form of the Fade, whereas 2G, it's really about layering that util together.
Yeah, layering the util, Askia as well, going for swings before teleporting out, just to get some info at times.
Digicin is reposted here over towards... Oh, but he's going to see some action. Has to be able to get out, and he can, at least with the fast lane. Vinny now going to fall back on the side here. Looks like the relay bolt caught a stun. And Vinny's going to get in position to cut this to the quickie. He hears, of course, a lot of noise. As 2G try and make their way towards the side, Gobera's able to bring Vinny down. The classic sings. 2Years here wants to wait, though, for a little bit of reinforcement as Pancada provides it. Paranoia thrown out. Still no plant of the spike. Gobera helps himself to the Outlaw.
Only 10 seconds coming in. Players on every single line, but that Outlaw's doing some work. Time to get the spike down. It's a 2-on-2.
Getting rid of the pinch there over towards Mount is pretty big, but you're still going to get this plant stuck. Now Gobera stuck in a 1v2. 2Years and Pancada. Only Ghosts to work with here. But in a position to double face on this, but the spacing's not quite there. 2Years has to challenge. Then he bails Loud out of what could have been a bit of an embarrassing situation on an anti-eco.
Wow, Gobera picking up that Outlaw, finding 3 kills on the round. You're certainly going to take that from 2G. The spike plant, too, because one of the things, if they had fallen there before getting the spike down, that's 2 rounds in a row. You don't have the spike. You don't have any kills on any of your big players, so the ultimates would have been looking bad. But as it stands, a big round 2 from Gobera. Now you've got the Teo ult to work with.
And they were already funneling orbs in towards this Teo, so clearly that Armageddon has a part to play in their overall strategy now, heading into this first gun round.
Eyeing things up, the Outlaw was saved over, but 2G knowing that, go full heavy for themselves. Shouldn't be too many issues, but keep your eyes on Vinny playing over in tree right now. Big stun line if 2G try to fight into that Rebel space.
Can play off the Vaunt pings as well, but so far 2G not caught out by that. Got a lot of passive info gain here. Cypher cam to spot any push up in this 2Years direction.
Yeah, by the way, Vinny has a Sheriff in tree behind door. Off of the Cypher cam, he is going to be trying to wallbang, get a headshot kill off of the camera that's spotting it through that little choke point.
Well, it might not be needed here. Pancada just takes a line, and follow-up there on the fault line was perfect. Digicin, it's been a little haphazard over on this side of the map, but he'll take his one. LZ and Silence now know path is clear, mostly to hit this seaside.
But remember, Gobera falling early means no Teo ult in this round. This is a bonus for Loud that 2G find themselves severely outnumbered at.
So far, Loud can only surmise as to where 2G have opted to go here. With their camera in towards Baby Door, there's a trip on B, so they have to narrow down the possibilities pretty quickly, and Picada's playing more passively towards this whole side, seeing that util come his way. And
Two guys getting blocked up by the wall is not good news. But if you look at 2G, they've actually separated down numbers. They need some hero plays out of these individuals. Silent's going to take the first fight into Link, but it's not going to be there.
Quite a round for Pancada so far. LZ just has to stay tucked and try and stop any potential defuse, but he's up against a veritable horde of interlopers, and here they come. Cowan's in around the corner. Not bad for LZ, but running out of bullets. 3 kills for him on the round, but Loud will have their third.
That fight over towards main was just crazy. The fault line came in delayed into the round. I'm not even sure if that came off of information or was just a timing look from them, but resulted in 2 kills nonetheless.
I mean, if it was just a timing look, that was perfect, considering that 2 players, look at this, out in the open.
Contact, there you go.
Digicin just goes 1 for 1 there. And again, it's been pretty assertive over towards that mound part of the map. LZ almost bailing out again. First Gobera, then LZ almost is not enough here for 2G. 3Ks for both those players. Still sees them with a fat goose egg. And time for a timeout here after that first gun round goes awry.
Yeah, this is a tough, calling a timeout this early, like you don't have really anything to work on. You know, 2G themselves have been playing a few slow rounds. They've seen the breach stun held all the way until their exec in the pistol. Then they see it on that A main fight there in the last one. I'm not too sure what the coach is seeing here that they can exploit in Loud's play.
Yeah, again, you're probably trying to identify some trends, but 3 rounds is not a lot of data, especially when only one of them was a full gun round. But Coach Faith saw here, obviously led this team through a very tumultuous ascension process, despite the fact that they now are only 2 of those remaining individuals. Whereas Loud, I mean, like I said, yeah, the last 4 officials, they've played crew 3 times. The most recently,
like silliness.
It's a competitive series, I suppose, but they end up beating each other on each other's maps, and it's really one-sided both ways. Split is a bit of a grind, so there's still, we have a lot of questions still about what this Loud team is capable of outside of that individual level, which we know is there.
Yeah, and outside of them against Brazilian teams. They typically farm those 4-1. Also, Digicin making the pivot in Kickoff. He was playing the Raze on this map, but I think people overreacted maybe a bit to the Neon nerfs initially. been pretty effective on this agent, using it now to catch the timing, dodge away from the breached Taeho utility.
Okay, so that might have been part of the conversation. Hey, we know Digizin's playing pretty aggressively towards Mound, and even if you take that space, he will still find a way to punish you. LZ's able to push up, get tucked here, find that one, and this is going to force Pancada right back onto this A site. Not too far back, as he's always looking for a bit of a fight. Silence might look to try and fill this space. Wants to imply a move up here, but Pancada is unrattled.
Everyone right now from 2G on a solo mission, and it's falling apart, right? The spacing towards A main. You've got LZ trying to take the timing before Silence is quite there. Now using the missiles to break open the door. They're finally doubled up, and that's going to be a good look for them. Possibly a plant now into B.
Again, some trips here over the site, but they should be cleared easily enough, and a Razorvine able to be put down now just to prepare for this.
Neural theft. Everyone's seen.
Again, one towards upper. Here's Digizine now finding his 30 in the round. He got busy over at C yet again, and will finish off the job. With that Neon ultimate, there's a huge pick he finds on Askia there. Able to find a kill over towards the player. I think trying to flank him at C. He does a lot of work, even though we don't see it in this round.
Honestly, I think round 5 is going to be the do or die for 2G, right? You're on the attack side of Lotus. This side massively favored in the state of the game right now. Dropping 4-0 after losing the anti-bonus. It is show up now or don't really show up much at all, especially with a couple of ults to work with too.
And that's that sort of Taeho ultimate that's been held since like round 3 or so now. This is what's happening behind the scenes. Digizine just tearing things open after LZ spikes, rather Silence try to make something happen on the A side.
Looks to me like 2G are going to try a more committed A-lobby fight. They've done a lot of the slower play, but Loud are sort of calling their bluff, throwing out a wall, a stun, seizing the space back immediately.
Yeah, a ton of early util here from the defenders. Askia still wants to push up, despite that Prowler needing to be cleared. Relay Bolt will catch onto the Aura, but it's not a line that Digizine can capitalize on.
PXS just stunned Askia.
It's not great.
It's all good. They got the space anyways. Yeah. Smoke goes down onto stairs, but I still like Loud's positioning. They're leaning 4 players on this side of the map. Pancada, by the way, has the ultimate, so as the C anchor, he can quickly rotate into A for the fight.
DG need to figure out how they tease Loud out of formation here on this A side. It was just a flashpoint deployed there. 2G still hiding in Baby Door, so 2G are no closer to satisfying their win condition in this round than they were a minute ago.
Yeah, you can kind of expect with Gobera moving back in towards C to use the drone into that space, maybe try to fake some kind of hit. They threw out the Vise flash too, so that's 2 players seen, but you can see
they don't like what they've seen.
Oh.
There's nothing to be gotten. Maybe a last-minute pivot over towards the B side. They've got to get through a couple of these plays, but things are going better over on the A side at least. Askia down. Digizine eventually caught out here. PXS able to try and make his way through tree. But 2G's has started to inch forward here. Might be a pivot over towards the B side as just some of these duels are straight up being won. Another one for PXS. And Pancada, after having ulted away, is it a 1 versus 4?
Smoked off too. He's in a really tough spot to play this round. It's good post-plant utility for 2G, so I don't really think Pancada's going to try for anything here. Maybe play for some exit frags, take some guns away. Money's not too great from 2G.
It just looks like a muddy around. That push up into tree. Got a bit messy. Pancada seems inclined to attempt something here, at least maybe look to keep a lid on the economy as some of 2G want to filter out of this B side back to safety, but they have taken the safe routes away. And there will be nothing for Pancada to seek. Trying to go for a tickle here. 2G trying to half it to util. For the Taeho on the side. Quick double back for 2G, and they will bail themselves out of what could have been scary, but give up a gun.
I'm glad 2G were in range to hear that spike defuse, because he absolutely had time to full stick without any util to stall it out. And yeah, you're right, this trade fight was a little bit muddy from Loud, for sure slipping up on the micro, but I like the macro idea from 2G, right? The fake into C was obvious, right? Loud weren't fooled by that, but then those 2 C players ended up walking front B to set up for the Omen ult into the site for the B split. That was very well called from 2G's side.
After finding very little on the A side that round and dealing with all the defensive util to block them out.
And that's LZ stepping into the IGL role for the first time for this team.
Comes in. Commits the Prowler, and the rest apparently to Taeho utils coming out. He might look to try and get ahead of this and ends up being riddled with bullets inside the dark cover.
Still big ultimates for 2G to play with. Digizin's gonna have to be cleared away. I think after the success of the last round, looking for this, slow pace re-hit into A is going to be the move. They just show the paranoia actually, and are moving back into C. Only Pancata there to hold them.
It's a pretty big commitment on the A side of the map. Here comes that dimensional drift though. Gate crash, and Pancata will be spotted out here. He has to know exactly what the game plan is from here on out. Trapwire spotted. Clone is going to trigger it. Askia likely going to emerge here up towards the side and try and make the play. Loud are getting ready though. Set up towards halls.
Yeah, Vinny's got a stun ready to go as well, so as soon as the spike goes down, I think Loud are going to get moving.
Pancata has a swing, doesn't see a whole lot, and that's a paranoia that does connect with the player over towards the site. Digizine is first up. 2U's going to try and work in from Waterfall, but Digizine falls. Fault line connecting onto the Cypher now, and there's that Armageddon that's been held onto for the longest time. Clears that space and puts time pressure on Loud.
Tons of pressure, yeah, with Pancata getting shot at too. Loud are going to call to save in a 3-on-4. They've just taken way too much damage. Look at Tui's and Pancata down to so little HP.
That'll be that. 2G going to be able to get their second on the round, and it was really up to Digizine and 2U's, right? One on the site, one by that waterfall area. Neither really able to find anything to speak of. So 2G exiting around, chance to build some economy, to get a spike plant. They keep all their rifles. All good signs.
Very good signs, whether it's finding that spam kill over towards A at the start, finding the first blood, and then rotating into C using that Yoru ultimate early, getting all the scouting down, not taking any chances. I think that tail ult was really effective too at dividing up Loud. You had one player running back into spawn, two other players trying to run in and take the fight. Completely separated the actual side players from Loud.
LZ, like you mentioned, stepping into that IGL role. Also, really delivering in terms of just output, impact across the map. 7-4 for him right now.
Cutting through.
PXS, a couple of crucial frags in that round 5 where they counted.
All missiles away.
And we go once more. Fight for Mound. Cowanzine backing up on B, but pretty standard opening for 2G. Pretty far forward trapwire though. Askia does trigger it.
Yeah, I was going to say, picking that one up early, going to make you feel real good. Doesn't even look like Tui's has placed the camera yet either. Some options to work around with that is they tap the front B door to put a lot more pressure on that solo anchor of Kawa. He falls back in towards Baby. But really, Louder, again, ready off the contact here with a breach stun.
That door opening might have also forced 2U's to cam on C. Add some extra resources there.
Shoot that thing.
All right, Gate Crash dealt with. Here comes the stealth drone as well. Everything including the kitchen sink now. To be hurled by 2G. Askia steps up. It is just a util storm here that Teho will be able to clear rubble, force the defenders back onto the A side, but 2G are not committed yet.
Whole bunch of util spent to clear that out. Importantly though, PXS holding on to the fault line. So getting into tree could be big. He's just gonna face it with the stun. Turning around the corners, Digizine doesn't even care. Gets the opener, and look at that, 2G gonna try and split into B.
Yeah, again, it's the contingency of heading over towards the B side. There's a good chance 2U's is quickly overwhelmed from that off angle. Can't play from upper, it's smoked out anyway. So again, 2G with a late round pivot to B. This time though, Loud, with 4 players, need to work through upper and link, and a nightfall will herald their arrival.
Only 2 players hit on site. The rest of 2G with good audio, and they counter out with the Steel Garden themselves, so Louder stalled now.
Pancata sees Cabrera first, but loses out in the duel, and this is where 2G been finding their edges in some of these raw fights. Vinny being 1v3. Rolling Thunder, no real good application for that ultimate this round. And at this point, there's not too much to do but to have a good old college try. He'll find absolutely nothing. So 2G again, like it's such a huge dump of util early in these rounds just to, signal something at A, and then a late round pivot to B that doesn't involve too much infrastructure. They get a plant and they just duel well.
Yeah, Tui's kind of disrespected the ability for players to just be up in the front B space, trying to catch that off angle to play into Baby Door. Look, if no one's front B, he's getting 2 kills there easy, right? But fact is, he flipped the coin, did not come up heads for him, and is punished for it.
This is that deft little sidestep by Digizine. And that's 2U's, yeah, again, with 2 angles to cover, essentially.
I could be trolling. I'm not sure if Tui's ever put down his camera that round, because I know he didn't early on.
C main, but only after the door to link got toggled.
That's why they pay you. You've got eyes.
Round 8 coming up here. 2G may be starting to get a bit of a feel for this. Rolling Thunder into this round as well, for their newest edition. Askia shows himself, but Pancata doesn't have a chance to capitalize as that Teho util comes on in. It's allowed, give the space up again. This time, less util has to be spent for it.
Good delay on that camera, trying to see if it was going to be fake pressure into rotating A or that pause into a re-hit with the breach ult. The fact that Oski is stuck around too. potentially be punished here once the smoke falls, but he's got his teleport set up for a quick rotate to A.
Little trap here. Vinny, obviously, with Digizine ready to play off of this. It's just the timing's not there. Digizine walks up. So this will buy a little bit of time, but there's no one here to help Vinny either way. 2G decide they want to land here. Vinny won't have a say in the matter.
It's just 2 seconds too late from Loud, trying to get a little active there on the eco round. Yeah, maybe Vinny can do some damage here, stall out with a stun to rotate players in, and that Stinger backside we've seen teams really struggle to deal with.
That Teo util hits pit and back A. Vinny, those had time to get to upper. They're off the side entirely allowed. These Stingers, though, they do want to try and dive in and get their feet a little wet. Cowanzine only able to find LZ for his trouble, and it's up to Pancada, who, again, hailing public transport to get to A still.
Ouch. How about that? 2G just 4 rounds in a row? Like, where did that come from? I was genuinely ready. If round 5 came around and they lose that critical swing round, the map was over for me. But no, TUG have brought it all the way back. Now it's Loud calling a timeout on the other side after these delayed, refights over into A have faltered for 2G, or for Loud rather, a couple rounds in a row.
It's pretty clear to see that Loud are trying to be assertive to gain control of Rubble. But there's one round where they lose a player through smoke. There's another where they end up just having to give that space and allow 2G to pivot over towards the B side and punish 2Us on his own.
It seems like Loud have been employing this 2-1-2 default where they've got the Omen Cypher playing relatively passively towards C, the Fade scouting front B, and then Breach Neon hand in hand into A. But because they're spreading their resources so thin, in these mid-round fights, they're getting outnumbered. And unless they're catching a great timing off utility, it's pretty hard to punish. And their B side also becomes a problem without Cypher utility to keep it covered in the mid-round. So I'd expect Loud to make a big pivot coming into a round like this, maybe change the location of the Cypher, maybe fight more aggressively with a stack of 3 or 4 players instead of spreading out so much on the defense.
Because there's a sense that even though they're quite thinly distributed, Loud don't want to play for these retake scenarios if they can help it, right? Like 2Us is smoked in upper on B and he still wants to push towards Link. He wants to, Loud don't really want to allow 2G into the A side of the map lest they, go B late in the round and force the defenders to be on the outside looking in. But that is 4 rounds in a row for 2G, whichever way you slice it. The bank has been built up beautifully. They're still got a Rolling Thunder to work with.
And again, they're doing the 2-1-2, and it's pretty consistently been 2 players into tree, opening the door early, maybe using the stun if they see someone. Feels a little passive for me.
Okay, 2Us now with that cam a bit further out. Of course, that one way to play off of is respected by 2G. For now. And Carter, though, about to have his hands pretty darn full, and just you've got to win those in that position, but completely overwhelmed there by 2G.
That's what I'm talking about. Loud are overextending themselves, going for fights on multiple fronts without much utility to play off of on C. That's an ego fight from Pancada off the one-way.
Not easy for him to get out of that spot either.
No. Certainly not when he's taking the fight. You got to TP out immediately, but Calazine sort of trying to take this fight with teleport coming up on high. 2G are into the site.
Here we go, Rolling Thunder thrown out by the defenders. Is there a chance here for Loud to capitalize? No, a counter coming back the other way. Vinny almost caught out there. Not punished quite yet, but it's going to be a trade on the site. Loud down to 3, and they're still very much at the extremity of this, but look where the spike is. It's dropped there in C main. Digizine has a line on it.
3 players facing him, though he's going to fall. That's just too early. Cowanzine is going to be late to the party, so Digizine getting it active here with the Zappy hands. 1 kill up from back in CT. Cowanzine now puts the pressure as Digizine falls back, but it allows the spike to go into the hands of Askia.
Telegraph, though, Digizine obviously makes a hell of a lot of song and dance about the fact that he wanted to fight there. 2G under the cover of that smoke. Extract the spike. That neon ult expires. And now, Digizine and Cowanzine have got to put it together.
By scouting CT, though, they have a very good read that players, at least one, is going to be coming in from water.
Time of the essence, of course. There is a haunt here for Cowanzine that has just come back online. 2G grouped up, LZ and Askia. LZ, one of the original Ascended of 2G. And Askia just doesn't have an opportunity to have backup from LZ. It's that back of spot. It's doable, though. There's the tap. Shots come in, and Digizine exits with 4. LZ just loses his nerve.
Hero round from Digizine. I mean, look, that was a 4v5 round, no smokes for Loud, and he just gets 4 kills there, fighting into sand.
It's funny how, your Omen dying early on defense, really changes the complexion of the round. You don't have that stall utility whatsoever, no paranoia to work with, no nothing. Look where the spike gets dropped. It's the Rolling Thunders that come from both sides that throw things into utter chaos.
I think it's one of the reasons why they're going for that flank there, because they don't have smoke, so you can't let the other team play off site. That's not going to work. They're just going to be able to shoot you down without coverage against the spike.
Digizine almost has the frag total of his team combined. 16 to 15.
Not too bad.
All right, here's Digizine on the swing. Oh, okay. Well, 1-for-1 allows Pancada at least to fill that space here towards Mound.
Finally a shift in how they're playing, but Tui's is playing so active, way in front of his utility towards A. It's a 1-for-1, sure.
And the offer ask here is punishing these walk-ups from Loud, this contact play that the defenders are trying to do on the extremities. Now in the 3v3, Vinny just quickly pops in there, and that is such a crucial kill. The spike loose towards the A side now, and time bought for Loud to get their ducks in a row.
Even Oski getting scouted out on site, and up in hand is uncomfortable. Doesn't have a gun to switch into. Loud tripled up in stairs.
Scary prospects. Oh, buddy! Now this little three-piece from Loud makes short work of Gobera. And Askia now has a bite taken out of him, caught inside this util. It's a matter of time. The Vultures are circling it. Okay, yep, all right. Fair enough. No scope there. Catches Vinny, but eventually justice is served, and Loud get 2 on the trot.
I promise you, STK was calling for this sort of counter default, this different opening to round in the timeout, right? Didn't want to make it obvious the round immediately after the timeout, but here we come in, Cypher's playing to the C side, it's an aggro piece into sand. I really like that look with the deep fault line too.
I mean, you called for this, you said one of the options for Loud is to like you go really aggressive and push very hard on one of those extremities, just like overload a side of the map.
In fact, now they win the default round, can run the aggro round again. Now 2G are wondering, well, is it a different kind of aggro round? Could they go back in the default? I would choose to go back to, honestly, what hadn't been working for them too well. In the default.
Okay, 6 defense side rounds here for Loud, nothing to scoff at. TP for LZ. Doesn't stick up, it doesn't see anything in upper there. It's just Cowanzine, a real light, loose grip here for Loud on this B side. Cowanzine wanted to find that initial timing. It won't be served up to him now. Vinny, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. He is trapped in that position and teaches him with it off, has to peer in.
Eyes on C right now, opening the door. Is 2G on that fight? It goes around and Tui's gets the first kill. Loud are trying to fight out through main, but the positioning is terrible for them.
Cyber Cage here allows him to split this up a little bit, but it is Loud. Very thinly stretched on resources, down to 2 players. And 2G are not offering them anything here for free. LZ is a problem for 2 years, and eventually he just takes the timing. Cowanzine call on the site, surrounded by 4. It is a tough job, and 2G will fight back. These B hits have been very successful for them.
And this time too, LZ sticking back in B main, right? Sort of reading that that fight was going to come in through the open door. To that late dagger in the back of Loud's flank works wonders for 2G.
It's able to nullify 2 users' ability to actually get involved, do a crossfire with Cowanzine.
For sure. It seems like 2G in these B post plants have done a lot of sort of solo plays in a way. They fight for a lot of these different lanes. There's 4 ways to attack into the B site. Usually teams will fight for 2 of them and they'll group up. 2G are playing 3 lanes, very individual, but it's working for them.
Okay, Cypher over at A side. This time it's going to be Digizine and Pancada once again, but again, the weaponry not great. Neither of them lots to work with, but the Vandal in Digizine's hands will account for the Oru. Now to push out of C. A lot of control on this part of the map, and it's going to be 2 years that falls back on A behind this Cypher util.
Yeah, 2 is going to go into stairs so he can play off his tripwire somewhat. Has the cam to work with too. But good pathing from 2G will avoid those trips entirely. No one's going down early.
Straight through tree, and those trips are not going to be relevant whatsoever this round. Neural Theft was there for 2 years, but that's also completely irrelevant now as all of 2G. And as much noise as I heard of Wild Wildebeest. Pancada sets up in that really nasty position towards Mount. Is that still guarded now? So Loud obviously with their secondaries only, time ticking down. They've got to start to make way towards this site. Still 4 players up here for 2G. A lot of that stall, that post-plant util to work with, but they're going to try and overload in a tree. Gobera finds himself just the 1. Still ticking away. 2G have to work with this now as PXS in upper is going to send that fault line in. As C's comes in, LZ can't be involved in this fight, but he's stuck inside the dark cover and finds his. Pancada dives in. Just a 1-for-1. PXS has to stop this, but it's just sheer weight of numbers for Loud. Exiting the half with that 7 defense side routes.
Very successful half there for Loud, 7 on defense, and recovering after losing 4 in a row in the middle of that half. Put up a really strong performance after that timeout.
Yeah, the adjustment's subtle, I think, at times here for Loud, but really quite effective. making sure they converge and do play for a full retake here, as opposed to the first half of this defense side where they kind of wanted to get ahead of it a lot of the time and served up a lot of free kills for players looking to clear angles on their own. Well, folks, that is a pretty frenetic, I'd say, first half of Lotus. We'll be back after this break with round number 13 to see if Loud with this 2-round lead can keep it going.
Oof, stuck paying for that old phone? Don't be. You know, at Verizon, we'll pay off your phone. And you'll get iPhone 16 on us. That's a value of up to $1,600, only on Verizon.
Well, for 2G, it's quite clear that the individual quality is there, and they've been able to leverage that in some messier rounds to get 5 on the board. But for Loud, there's one individual that stands above the others. It's Digizine with a 17-kill first half. He's been looking electric, and that pun is entirely intended.
Yeah, he's kind of a monster there on the Neon, especially that round he had the ultimate, pulling the 4K, getting the course corrected up against 2G. But now 2G moving on to defense, the harder half, they're trailing, and a brand new comp. Let's see what PXS is able to do in the breach slot. 3 days ago, he was playing in Brazil Challengers. Now he's on the stage here.
That's right. Yep, life comes at you fast. For better or for worse, as it may be. Paranoia here off the fault line timing. Askia really wants to try and get this space, but ultimately decides to gate crash out as he realizes that this has just been a clattering for Loud and not full commitment at C at all.
Yeah, 2G have left LZ, or actually they're not leaving LZ. He's rotating out now after Loud put presence with the Prowler, the open door, but the spike is moving back into C.
This could be truly elegant. Even the shear wall gets triggered. This is absolutely going to be catnip to LG, rather 2G, who just want to stick around here.
I love this too, leaving Tui's in this space outside of B and A, looking to hear the footsteps rotating out. He hears the footsteps, so he's gonna move now.
LZ, okay, just chill for the time being. He was stunned up inside that dark cover. And very quickly, 2G, the swarm with them, going to try and make their way over towards halls, but so much info gain. Cowan's with the big C's that catches on the multiple, and LZ's forced to turn tail. Still whips around and finds the headshots. Unreal.
And this flank isn't coming in fast enough with how 2G are getting back onto the site. 2 players, Pancata and Vinny, pushed away from the site using the blast to try and stall out. Pancata is finally going to come in. It's 1 kill for him. That might not be enough.
Okay, but nobody's on the site right now. All of 2G have to kind of reassemble. Silence has to go up there, but he's essentially a one-shot. Dark cover comes down. Askia and LZ have to find a swing timing here. It's got to be effective, and they get the job done. Scary there for a moment. 2G, though, great pivot into a defuse.
That's great. How is LZ getting 2 kills there with the classic? Full stunned.
This is where someone says something.
It's a right click. It's just that simple. Like, what is this? Okay, the first one he wasn't stunned.
Oh,
second one he was. Are 3 bullets connecting on both of his right clicks? Hello!
Oh my god. I mean, this is that individual quality. We've got to talk about it. LZ, 15 and 8.
Dude, Loud call like a near perfect round. Fully bait 2G into A. They've got a flank going on a fast timing with 2. He's hearing the footsteps. Nah, it doesn't matter. LZ's just going to kill everyone. It's on 15 kills.
A wise man once said, you get shot, you die. Loud definitely could be frustrating after that one because they did everything right, it felt, until the rubber hit the road. This time, actually a bit of a thrust in that B side direction. We'll draw out the Omen util. Smoked out, and DJZ will cross and embed himself towards this door side, and maybe a pivot over towards C is in order.
Yeah, seeing if he could bait anyone to walk out of the smoke when he taps the door, but they're about to run into a neon wall on this side of the map. PXS's stun should be back up soon, so this is not going to look good in the moment.
Man, okay, Outlaw starting to sing. And it's a funeral dirge for Loud, at least for 2 years. And this is going to provoke them to pull right on back, and frankly, LZ hasn't taken a ton of real estate here towards A, very disciplined, but surely an attempt for Loud here with 45 seconds on the clock to challenge for rubble control.
Again, hearing the footsteps come on through, though. Should be pretty simple for LZ to play this. No fault line actually being charged. Hold on, help this guy out! How is LZ out of there?
And he still has a TP as well, just in case he gets a bit messy. Loud path entirely through tree, though. LZ can catch a nasty paranoia and bleed more clock. Now he can get embedded on the site with his stinger.
LZ playing all on his own right now. Look at moving around the map. That's one kill for him. Tracks into the second before pulling out the ghost. And some help from up above. 2G make quick work Loud on this round.
And I was worried maybe without Zap that this 2G team might be a bit muted, maybe a little bit quiet, maybe a little meek, demure even. Yeah. No, they're definitely making some noise out there on the stage, and after a round like that, you can't blame them. They've evened up the game after a conversion on the pistol.
I'm not going to lie, that fault line came in way too late from PXS, but it didn't matter somehow. I don't know how LZ is able to survive there. Then he's getting the perfect paranoia, sprinting into backside. Look, he's getting the kills, he's getting the util down, he's calling the game. There's a far cry from the teleport into the Cypher trip against
Oh, that nasty, nasty Haven map. All right, little cam action there. Does spot a decent amount of action over towards Rubble and Askia. Can't connect there. I mean, it's going to be LZ dealing with 2 years though again. And just, man, this guy cannot do any wrong as far as I'm concerned.
What's going on here? This is 2G's bonus.
Two of these Loud players definitely susceptible to the Kiss of the Outlaw. There's only that half armor.
Important that DJZ on the Neon, who's taking first contact, does have the heavy armor, so not as punishing in theory if they do exec into the Oru.
Oh, we're really going back to the raid boss. Okay.
I don't know.
LZ. Cover going out. Quite have the time in there. He can dark cover himself away, so he'll give up a little bit of the A side, but scale back and be backed up by PXS soon enough. Let's see what that fault line timing looks like this time around.
Yeah, he's still got full util. There's options now if LZ wants to fight up against the opening of the door, off the sun. But PXS is playing the complete rat angle in the corner. They all are, even LZ's backside.
PXS not swinging for anything.
No! What is this positioning? How did he get in front of the util?
DJZ able to bring LZ down though. The attackers here able to spawn. Swarm over this A side. Oh, PXS! Pancada able to abuse that 10 spot there to find an easy one, and Silence will swing into this line. Pancada's able to get away just in time. That regen shield will give him 25 in a second.
Askia trying to make so much noise coming in from Heaven. The rest of his team working out from main side, but as he falls, it all goes down on these two players outside stairs. Good fight from Vinny, the swing from Cowanzine, and Louder back in.
And to take stock of things, that round starts with LZ just proud as a peacock over at Rubble, able to take an easy kill with that Sheriff, then falling back. I feel like Louder is sort of running into that trap a little bit here, but again,
yeah. I don't know, I feel like 2G got every insane timing possible and then didn't make it happen, whether it was this fight here, Pancada turning around, PXS can't quite get the kill. The fight that LZ took backside too, he dodged a Paranoia and a Prowler, but can't get the shot either. Like, the movement was good, the timings were good, the shot's just barely not there.
How often can you bank on the planets aligning like that? Once again, assertive play towards Rubble, even more so than previous rounds from 2G. That does mean that Mound is going to be a little easy to conquer.
Yeah, and Silence put his wall over on B this round, so doesn't have that extra layer of defense. Yeah, it's really just his gun against the world on C.
Launching thorns.
That smoke coming in, DJZ does clear the Razorvine for essentially free. Camera also thrown down for 2 years, and Silence doesn't really have the backup here to clear through that. Finally, Askia joins him. Still a minute though, still so much to work with for Loud.
He broke the camp from back CT, so Silence position might be less predictable. It's still going to get cleared with the utility. That is brutal.
Yeah, Seas and that Aftershock combined perfectly to guaranteed elimination. What is LZ looking for? Just to try and reinforce here from back halls. Pancada Stealth now completely dispensed with. Loud, let the cat out of the bag and try and make this happen at the seaside. Oh, but it's messy! Pancada, Vinny able to get forward though, and 2G just rushed themselves into the meat grinder. A flawless round here for Loud.
Yeah, they went for that teleport over into the quick retake with the stun line, the paranoia. Loud got up in their faces though. Nice post plant from them, not trying to risk it and back off play time off site. Just putting bodies into the mix.
Maybe an inflection point that round though. 2G's economy essentially broken. Just a really awkward retake attempt from them there. It's got to feel like a lot of weight off your shoulders for Loud. Feel like you maybe start to get clear of things here on this attack side after losing the pistol.
So again, looking like a fight over towards Rubble. Fault line comboed with the blast, but Digizin is up in front of this. Completely unexpected from Oskia. A-side is open.
Yeah, no need to waste any time here. Loud definitely know they've got a huge economic edge. This time an A-side that's pretty open might likely see Loud path 4 through tree once more. They're a little concerned about what could be waiting for them, Baby Door.
Yeah, sometimes you see on these egos full stack over towards the sites. Instead, they freeze it out and they wait. Now in a 4v5, expect 2G to go on some walks. So yeah, front B, we're getting a little bit active, seeing what we can find.
There's a camera there though for 2 years. There's actually so much to spot this out early. Vinny, they didn't have anyone to play off the fault line, but at least is able to waylay LZ.
Here.
There's 2 players committed for the defense into an area that is, well, cordoned off essentially by these trap wires.
The cam, like, are we aware of the step up or not?
Oh! Okay, golden opportunity goes begging for LZ. He kind of gives it up as well, and Loud don't look back. They realize they can probably still pressure this A side of the map here.
What is going on the map? We're teleporting into C because our Cypher's in there. There's still players in front B. 2G are up here, but not taking the fight, just getting spammed. What is happening?
But at least the spike is on a site, right?
Planted.
It's not a prizey moment at all.
We never clicked the camera front B. Doesn't matter. Knew he was there anyways.
God, the extent that Loud have gone here to make sure that there's an antidote to chaos in this round where they know there's going to be anti-eco strats thrown at them. They are so meticulous. They are so almost schizophrenic about where they end up on the map. Silence brought down and coming up to PXS here.
Oh, no, make it stop, man. That's just not okay.
Another 4K for Digizin. I would say 30 bomb not out of the question here. He is farming 26 and 12 after 18 rounds.
You know, I was trying to get some real fake stats ready for this event.
I like fake
was
stats.
like, PXS is coming out. I wonder if he's played against any of these guys before. Last year, he played against Digizin and Oskia, actually, on Hero Base. And he farmed Digizin. He was playing in the duelist slot. That's not happening this game. Has no bearing on this game. But it's a fun tidbit.
Yeah. Wasn't he then eliminated from stage 2 by PXS's team?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, last year, I think like one of the criticisms was we're not seeing a lot of like the depth in the sort of LATAM and Brazilian region. Like, where are the tier 2 players, right? Everyone was saying it's so hard for them to get the experience to play unless they're already in America or can get, you know, somehow a shot onto some of these teams. But, you know, it started with MIBR. I think like scouting real homegrown talent from Brazil, now a Brazilian team ascending, we are starting to have these conversations. We start to see what this region is able to churn out. And in 2G's case, well, it's been a little bit ill-fated, right? I think they're still trying to find themselves. I feel like Loud represents the pillars of the Brazilian community, whereas, you know, MIBR is doing it with some of those new, younger faces. So we get much more this year, I feel like, than we ever have.
Yeah, Loud was almost the opposite in a way, going back to Digizin, and that kind of raised a lot of eyebrows in the offseason. Like, oh, is he the guy? Are we going for him, giving him another shot? But he's been lights out his jet every time he's played Haven, apart from this last time. But during Kickoff was elite. This map, he's definitely farming.
I think they went back to the well with Pancada as well, right?
Yeah.
So far, not so bad. Definitely looking very good. I'll put him in the top 4 after Kickoff, happily.
Big blow up, like Wyatt was saying, since the off season.
Okay, these cameras for 2 is getting a pretty large amount of value in these early rounds. Okay, well, spot the Omen up there. LZ going to be spotted. Probably the player you're trying to steer clear of here, and that's just clean shooting across Mound. But there is more where that came from. Cowanzine has friends, and they are mad. PXS gets picked off. That's on B side. That's Pancada just finding timing there.
Yeah, go for the swing. You lost a player, it's my time to shine. Now Loud can sort of reset the round. Unclear how they want to make this move just yet, but I think they're leaving Digizin over towards C in case there was someone stepping out of that smoke. Shut that one down, then could quickly rotate back into the A space.
That, of course, is a concession for potential LZ playing up on Rubble. That paranoia thrown out. That will now be cleared. 43 seconds in the round. Note that DJZ is still inserted over at C like we've seen in the past, just in case there's a push-up from the Sentinel there.
This team is definitely going back into C. I was wondering if maybe it could be a B split later, but no, instead, leaving 2Es for full audio into A, taking his timing, but great walk-up from LZ. Again, risky moves, but the scouting he gets is massive. It allows Oski to rotate quickly into A into C. See if they can flood out into the site.
Askia might have a timing here. He's pretty close there on Waterfall. Through to smoke. Yep, paired. DJZ caught out. Tries to go in with that ultimate. Vinny though on the side. There's going to be a plant here for Loud. 2 players left. Time getting short. Okay, the Teo Util's going to force him back. Vinny might be interrupted here by the player emerging from the dimensional drift. Askia tries for it. He stops the plant though, and that's what matters. That's what keeps 2G in the game. They'll get to 8 here. Continuing to make it competitive on Lotus.
Huge round for 2G. Without a win there, they can't buy into this next round. And without LZ stepping out of tree, right, that's a risky play, but it's a very high reward when it works. Even if you don't find anyone, it allows your team to start leaning to C already. To get the lurk is just the icing on the cake.
Unreal early warning. Yeah, like you mentioned, you can get mega punished by that, but he immediately sees that it's a fake. Just 2 years left over on the A side of the map. That information flow is so crucial so 2G can make informed decisions about how to distribute their defenders on such a big map.
It's a brawl so far. Double teleports. Oski is getting Pancata somehow top root, and LZ is up above. 2G continue to win out in their fights until Kawa equalizes, but 2G are still creeping. And Loud are out of the space.
Geez, what do you say after that? Not much more to be done here at all, especially with 2 years falling there to Askia. We're not checking upper rubble, apparently. Sheer wall comes down, and so does the curtain on Vinny. 2G get within striking distance of Loud.
I know I just keep I'm hyping up LZ, and I can't believe this is happening, but the thing is, every other round, his default utility into Rubble has been doing a smoke on his side of Rubble on the ground, and he's teleporting into that. So he's dodging away from flashes, but he's playing on the ground. This is the first time he's teleported up on high, so Loud are not expecting it. That's what ruins them here, the extra angles and the extra bodies.
Or at least that it was a trend that we saw earlier on, because 2 years does cam that A main area the previous round and sees him on Rubble, but it's later, like he transitions up there afterwards. So I would even think that would condition Loud to check there, but that's definitely not the plan. Very messy stuff. SDK with a timeout here, as you probably would expect. Loud have conceded 2 rounds now, and 4 in total of the 7 that we've seen on this second half. They string that nice little run of rounds together, and they're heading into a round now where they do have a Nightfall Neural Theft available, so plenty to work with, but it's been a little shaky for this team who we were filled with confidence from. A scrappy game against Crew here with, like, you know, maps being finished after only 15 rounds. A bit of a head scratcher there, but we're really trying to find where we should put this team in our internal rankings here for Loud. They're thinking, of course, about Masters.
They're thinking about Masters, but the fact they're only 1 round up against a 2G team that just lost their IGL, their best player in the opening game, and lost it like 2 days before this match. Like, PXS just got here and are putting up this kind of a fight versus Loud. That makes you ask a whole lot of questions.
Pretty impressive stat there for DJZ as well. Usually low first death per rounds means high first kill per rounds if you're a duelist, so definitely a good stat to have. And this game in 26 and 14, you can't argue with it. They've got to keep him on the boil, though.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about with the teleport into the smoke over towards Rubble. What LZ's been doing a whole lot, but this C site, a little bit worse for wear. Quick teleport from Askia puts him on this side. And the stall allows these players on site to double up.
Okay, so B-main gets checked here by Gabera. And then this should tell you all you need to know if you're an A player. You're Omen spotted towards B, the rates of I being triggered on towards C. You just leave LZ where he is. And you've got to Steel Garden in case, like, you can find a cadence here for trying to interrupt the attackers, but Loud don't really like what they've seen, but it might be another insertion of DJZ in here. They're milling about a little bit on Mount.
Yeah, they're trying to see if they can maybe pull some rotates between B and C by threatening the door, working into B after the sole scouting tool of 2Gs had been used so early in the round.
48 seconds here. Loud, it's such an important round. Money-wise, context of the game, it's all crucial. They are going to get on towards this C side here. A nice paranoia to upper.
2G are playing full retake because they have Breach and Visal. They're about to let it rip.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem for Loud. They've struggled in these retakes already, being forced off. Pleasure dead. Look, plant dead. That's brutal for Vinny. And now the space is retaken by 2G. They got possession of the spike at that. Loud.
The round's over. It's over.
Loud don't have the spike. They're forced off the site. 3 players alive on full HP, and they can't do anything. There it is, a terrible place for the spike to be dropped as it clattered down to the ground from that high area.
10 seconds left.
Again, it did cost 2G what you would expect it to, right? They have to use both the Vice and Breach ultimates, but a round win is a round win. It's a tied game. And if you are checking the other ults in the game, right? Vinny and Kawa, they don't have ults charged up. There's no big ults coming up anytime soon, really, for Loud. Whereas 2G, they're 2 away from Gobera, from Askia's Your ult as well. We are now in dire straits almost for Loud as their money's getting challenged and so are their ults. And here's, of course, the follow-up, and Spike Plant attempted here. The shots came through. Wow, last second. I mean, I guess silver lining that the spike falls to the low ground, but Loud were not in a position to pick that up. That is savage. 26 kills for Digizine and still a question mark over whether they're going to be able to win the game. It's tough stuff. Well, Loud moving quickly over towards Sand. They know Fault Line was used on the other side, so accelerating into C is possible. Not the easiest thing in the world versus the Vice still, and LZ has a paranoia, so the stall pretty effective for the time being. And what we normally, oh my goodness, okay, LZ just, this guy forward. Again, he finds a moment, it's almost reminiscent of that lurk he made out of Tree off that sort of very aggressive timing, but again, it's so impactful. He's loved playing on that high angle when the door's rotating around, this time just taking the shot over the smoke. And that might have put 2G into the lead in this game. Absurd to think. Now with the drone spotting them front B, there's still a wall here too, so Loud can't quickly accelerate. They might think the wall is on C and try to make something happen here, but no, they're just gonna get stalled. And now, plan C, the A side, as it may be. Askia has to pull back, so this is at least going to be one of the softer parts of the map for now, as Loud are still tentatively ambling in. But there's 35 seconds, there's 2 flashes on the breach. LZ can ultimate over into the site. Like, Loud are in serious time trouble. And they just want to go quickly here. That's why PXS rather is getting flashed off here, caught inside the smoke. And oh, it's Carnage! PXS is able to find 2. It's up to Vinny now. Horrendous for Loud. Disastrous situation as 2G get in the lead. The bank is well and truly broken. What is going on? This doesn't make any sense. 2G are supposed to be the bottom of the league. They're supposed to have a new player coming in, and now up against Loud after last week very nearly toppling EG in that opening map. Remember the second half comeback they made there as well. Now, just need to see it through versus Loud to go up 1-0. These are the most treacherous of trap games. For a team like Loud, who a loss here, like, they're thinking about their overall placement in the state. They lost their first game to Crew, right? Being 0-2 heading into week 3, it's just unconscionable for a team that has global aspirations. And they're going for a half buy on this round. Shockingly. A couple of hero rifles, a Guardian. Digizin, hand in hand with a couple of teammates front B. LZ, who's been so good, not this round. That sheer wall placement is devious over towards Tree. Here's that neural theft. Information for Loud. They got an idea what's going on. Over towards that B site, they thought about it. Looks like an interruption there as Tears has to try again. Digizin going on a walk into Waterfall, catching the teleport back. This post plant position with Kawa outside A space too. I don't see a world 2G get back in. And this is a half buy for Loud. Got to throw a gamble like this in. So crucial that it pays off for them. PXS going to be down. Silence wants to take the fight, but he sees Decade down. Still can find the headshot, though. 2 rifles still being held on to. 2 years and Digizin able to upgrade Gobera. Nice fight to take here. Surely has to start to think about it, but Silence being dealt with now. Gobera's going to commit this Armageddon. Pancada, he misses the timing on him crossing. Teo ultimate committed there to no value. Loud on a half buy, able to triumph and take the rifles out. Yeah, getting the opener there versus LZ, massive. The walk from Digizin too, taking that timing. After Askia failed to get the kill in B main. That's really what I think made this round slip apart. This is all after the damage is done, these moments. Oh, and losing the ult there is so brutal. Like, Gobera finds a couple of kills, he feels like he can be the hero for the team, but now, whereas 2G, their ultimates were feeling really good cycling in towards the end, they don't have that. Breach ult for Vinny to work with here to go to 12. So a 4-round win streak snapped by Loud. They're able to get into the game, and again, it's another massive opener from Digizine.
Back-to-back, LZ falls.
And he avoids any reprisal as well. The fault line timing, rather, is just not there. Cybercage will help him get out scot-free.
Has to call from the grave. No smokes to help stall out the site hits, too. So Loud have plenty of time to try and work the map here. And eventually gear up for a breach ult hit into a site.
Goes LZ.
Yeah, working to see. They've got to drop down this smoke on top site to make it easier to break the wall.
And this time, of course, that sheer wall is going to be there. Can step through it together, but that Vice util is highly relevant. There is some action. Getting active over towards this B side of the map, at least, as Pancada is poking around there.
Yeah, it's a little fake C to B, looks like to me. Maybe even sending in Digizine past this wall while the rest of the team rotates B.
Rolling Thunder from the attackers. They're going to commit here. Digizine through the Razor Vine, caught by PXS. There's the sheer wall. No chance to follow up on that, and now over towards B. Might not have been a fake to start with, but sure as heck is now. And that's PXS finding a timing and opportunity there. Vinny caught out as Loud commit their last remaining resources to the B site. We've got the spike down.
Askia with this operator towards A. Needs someone to step into his crosshair. Here comes Tui's. The shoulder is seen, but Tui's wins the fight.
Such a seasoned veteran moment there from 2 years. Refuses to serve himself up on a platter. Holding the line, though, is Kawenzine, and now into 2. Cabrera has to fight, and Loud still keep the possibility of a map take alive.
Good hit called there from Loud after getting the opening fight. They have that fake into C. No one home on the B site. Still, ping's a little bit close. With that kill going there,
this from 2 years, the shoulder peek is so astute.
That's gross.
Nicely done.
Racing back in air.
Important. 2G here, still in quite a position to buy in a dimensional drift here, which is really going to relieve the pressure of just information starvation for the defenders, so they can make the right call on where to be. C start for the attackers.
Yeah, pretty quickly already seeing the Yoru path back into the C side after LC gets posted up on A. It's been a lot of this C open from Loud, pause, re-hit. Looks to be it one more time.
Tuya's set up to play off his own cam here. LZ not getting a lot of action, and that's a terrible start. That's 3 consecutive rounds. Digizine's found a clean opener ender, and now they're going to hit this C side. I don't think there's much that can be said about it. A key kill for PXS here. But now it is smoke towards, oh, that's beautiful. Huge. Okay, before the smoke bloom, Silence can get involved.
And PXS has Rolling Thunder now for the retake off of the kill. Loud are not committing into the site, leaving instead Digizine to play slow on this lurk. See if he can catch anyone while his teammates work back into A.
This is going to take a moment, though, and already 2G are suspicious. PXS also ready for a potential push in that Hall's direction. How can Digizine be relevant here? So far from that spike, so far from his teammates.
Oh my God, they're shooting bullets A, and they're gonna come back into C because Digizine hasn't found anyone. He might have even heard a couple of footsteps rotating out of the site as well. Loud calling a masterclass round right here, completely snapping 2G's ankles.
On a map point of anything, and now Digizine gets tucked in such a dangerous location. 2G, wall over their eyes entirely. Not a clue as to what's going on. Spectators in the round. Time for them to get involved. They got that Rolling Thunder for the retake. You mentioned that earlier. But can they get close enough to use it? Digizine is getting ahead.
Force back with a good flash. Louder still fighting up on these angles. So active. Vinny inside of a smoke towards water. This 1v1 is massive. The shorty takes him down.
Vinny's out of the picture now. Digizine has to hold from the low ground. Sees the Vice push up, and Picardo's able to find one. Now, surely. Caution thrown to the wind. Has to push up into this now. LZ gives it a tap. Takes him down. It's a 1-for-1. Digizine 6 health. Not enough. And we're going to overtime.
You're telling me Loud 2G is going OT in map 1? Are you kidding me? 2G showing up big here. In a crazy round, Loud working them around the map. But after 23 rounds of 2G playing hyper-individualistic, the last round, when it's all in the wire, they group up Deathball and it works.
I mean, the macro is so intricate over these last couple of rounds. And it should be maybe more straightforward for Loud as Digizine. It's 3 rounds in a row. Perfect first kills, like no reprisal, great opener. But the issue of getting onto the seaside, securing it for Loud is taking a heck of a lot more effort because of that Vice util, the threat, of course, of a gate-crashing Goru to return and reinforce.
But now we have that side swap coming back. 2G on attack. They faced this 2-1-2 setup virtually every round Loud played, except for a couple of C aggros later in the half. 2G were very successful with mid-round fights, punishing especially Smover aggression on the C side.
Loud here have that set up with the breach inside tree. Fault line deployed here is Vinny realizing that some of that scrutiny was headed in his direction. 2G far from committed, hoping to tease something out of Loud, who, in fairness, were giving them a lot of early action on the defense side.
Yeah, Loud with a big shift onto the A side. They liked leaving Pancata over here alone with the Cypher Trip and Cam inbound to play off of. This makes their A side very strong.
Camera is destroyed.
Loud are trying to re-clear rubble, but there's still a good presence here from 2G, so that could be a little bit volatile.
Good work from 2G, though. All that Cypher util gone in the first 40 seconds of the round. Not too bad.
Still unclear really what 2G's true intention is, but they've got Askia pretty far forward. Gate crash though is there, so it's not a commitment.
A fake into a C hit, looks like.
Yep. What can Askia do? How can he sell this flash? Pretty
What
wild
HP?
spray there. It's ham-fisted Askia. Can he get out? No! The gate crash expired. But truly a fake sold. Make no mistake.
And Pancata teleporting off the site,
30
surviving
seconds
is massive. Now Loud can play slow, regroup, work numbers here in the retake.
Spike planted.
Some of these retakes on defense, a little bit awkward for Loud at times.
3 front B from Loud, looking to open up this door and crunch into Gobera.
He is the key player right now. He's going to hear, of course, this door open. The LD can also follow the line for him. 1 for 1. Gobera still as yet hidden, undetected. Vinny, though, he's going to be looking for a C. Comes in, but where's the eyes? Cowan's in, at least able to find the one now. Player advantage for Loud to leverage Silence. And PXS here, sat on bend, trying to hold on, trying to huddle together. It's the newcomer PXS. In a 1 versus 1. Over the top goes 2G, but he makes too much sound. The new blood will get 2G to map points.
PXS winning out down numbers in the post plant. Big fight, Gobera getting the 1 there, even after the tether had grabbed him. More clearing by Loud, and he punishes nicely, almost finding the second. And then that trade from PXS into the quick reposition. Beautiful seeing the new guy work it out on the stage.
Therese just gives away the game. But that's such a huge moment. Weight off the shoulders for a debut. Giving 2G a real shot at this. Digizino might have something to say, is upwards of 30 kills for Loud.
It's a brawl into A. Every piece of utility spent, Loud are still in the space.
Yeah, big rubber control being exercised for Loud, but it's scaling off this part of the map, that's the question. 2G really, so many pairs of eyes on that push-up.
Loud ran a lot of these A hits into pinching back into B in the mid-rounds. So I think 2G are sticking a couple players on B, anticipating that. Not now, but 20, 30 seconds down the road. But it does leave their C side very weak for the time being. Silence has been good from back there, but he doesn't have the wall to play with this round.
That Vice util is more distributed across the map, rather than grouped up at C. So in theory, Loud do have a decent way in. 49 seconds left.
Brilliant.
There's another clean open.
Dude, this guy is lurking every round. They leave him inserted after the early aggro. He's been so effective finding these picks.
Not enough to sell it, though, really, to 2G, as of course they keep Askia here at C. 2 years also will remain. There's not a lot of real estate taken by Loud, despite that first pick still.
Not much from 2G either. They've got zero information anywhere on the map. Look how passively they're playing. 2 players back towards their spawn outside B.
Fault line into B, sheer wall will be activated. Oh, Vinny's on the outside looking in. Will this be punished though? No, there's a player in baby door. DG's been able to get there. Through the smoke though, desperately Silence able to find one of there goes DG. You're running out of time. Loud, don't have any other options. With 3 players left to stay in the map, they've got to go for the plant, but Vinny will be interrupted. And that's all she wrote, folks. 2G limping into the game. We'll take it in overtime. What are we doing here?
You're telling me 2G are winning their first map in 2025 without their IGL, without their leader from the Ascension run, with a new guy jumping into the server on the stage for the first time and taking down Loud?
It's unbelievable. It's not even their map pick. DGZ dropped 30 plus on them. It still wasn't enough. What is going on? The Loud team we saw in Kickoff, cohesive, quite solid, good lower bracket run, ending 4th place, very decent in general. Door returning to the well for some of these tried and tested names, but 2G, who look nothing like the team that ascended in fairness, have put it together on a dime. PXS on the breach of all things, and then made it work in a slugfest, admittedly, but a win is a win.
Yeah, PXS had a couple of big rounds towards the end, and LZ was a monster all game. Called some really good rounds once they came back from the 4-0 deficit on their attacking side early, and then the classic double kill is just ridiculous. He had so many consistent, high-impact rounds, regardless of his gun.
Yeah, you can see I get so many of these fights being had over rubble were crucial, and also, Loud trying to get into the seaside really struggled with it there. Just great showing in general. We'll talk about LZ. Hey, that first half from him especially really keeps 2G in the game. Great showing so far for 2G, but we're going to step away for a second. Zoe and the analyst desk are going to break down our first map of this series. It's a bizarro world, but you might as well just go with it, folks.
Red Bull gives you wings.